So a very good morning to our beloved lecturer, Madam Mazwin, and also to my beloved friends. By the way, my name is Eli Kid Morris, and I am from DPH Code 18, and I'm currently studying at KPJ IC Penang. So today, the topic that I would like to discuss today is regarding about the individual assignment for Hospital Pharmacy 2. So for the case study, Mr. Ahmad is a pharmacist in charge at the store pharmacy at KPJ Ampang Hospital, and one of his responsibilities is to manage the drug and non-drugs item at the store. He managed to do procurement, purchasing, and receipt all the items in the store hospital. So this is part of the case study. And the first question will be describe for each procedure, procurement, purchasing, and receipt injection for morphine. And I have to explain in the diagram and each procedure for each process. So first, this will be the example of the diagram of the procurement. And as you can see here, from the diagram, it has about at least 5 steps to do. So we will discuss that further deep into So firstly, procurement. The purchase of drugs and medical items shall be made within the budget allocated to the individual department institution. So will be the first step. And all purchases shall be approved by the head of the department or the institution. So the procurement of standard items shall be made according to the following requirements. For example, items that are listed under the approved purchase price list or AAPL through a concession company appointed by MOH. So for example, companies like Pharmaniaga Sdn Bhd. So central contract items to the appointed contractors, and quotation items through local purchase orders to the selected suppliers. And then procurements of non-standard and new medical items shall be made upon request from the requesting unit and approved by the head of the department, subject to the availability of allocation in the budget. Next step, it will be the request for supplies shall be based on the usage patterns and the shelf life for the items. And like for example, top-up systems, they have to be practiced in the unit onwards, and over storage should be avoided. So lastly, the supplies from the suppliers, they shall be delivered directly to the medical store. So in cases where delivery is required to be sent directly to the end user, for example the unit award, the supplier documents, for example the invoice and also the DO, shall be forwarded directly to the medical store. So items which are not kept as standard stock by the store shall be transacted out to the unit or word that has received the items directly from the supplier. So that is the steps for the procurement. So this is one of the examples for purchasing, the diagram, and I will explain it deep further. Next. So for purchasing, firstly they have to review the stock levels at time of stock checking and during issue. So if the stock levels are low, then they have to reorder back. So the quantity to reorder is be based on the previous usage, the projected usage, the lead time, cost of items, discounts, stock balance, contact quantity, minimum and maximum stock level, and also reorder level. And next, they also have to prepare purchase order with the following information. For example, the name of company, the date of purchase, the description of items, the quantity, pack size, unit or measurement of item to purchase, the price of item, and they also must have to sign the PO in which the pharmacy is assigned to do, for approval. So for this step, the pharmacist, they have to check and also verify the PO, and they shall contact the storekeeper if they are in doubt. So for example, all of these morphine, like the morphine, they will be done by the pharmacist based from the steps above, right? So the pharmacist, they have to sign the PO and the fax or send the PO to the drug company. So lastly, they also have to send the PO to the accountant or the GM, which is for verification. So this is another diagram which is for the receipt process, and I will discuss it deep further. And yeah, the first thing that we'll do that is that in this receipt process is all items received shall be checked against the local purchase order and delivery order, and they must be verified from physical items as for the following. For example, identify the name of drug and quantity in pack size versus unit of measurement, expiry date and batch number, and delivery condition. And all items they have to be received shall be in good condition and with any seal intact, so that the packaging must be not be damaged lah. So if a non-conformance is found upon the items received, they have to inform the suppliers. For example, like the packaging is damaged or stuff, not in a good condition, they have to inform this to the supplier. So if the items are confirmed, okay, it is alright, it's in good condition, they have to acknowledge the receipt on the supplier's DO invoice. They also have to retain the copy of DO or invoice and poison copy if there is any, right, in return, and return the remain copies to the drug company. And they have to store drugs in the designated area. So for upon acceptance for dangerous drugs and psychotropic substance, pharmacies should check items and place in the designated locked storage area. They also have to enter receiving data to DD-BOK stock record books and psychotropic substance BOK stock record books for psychotropic substances. And for this sort of drugs, only the pharmacists and the authorized personnel shall receive it, because authorized personnel from each requesting wards, they shall be responsible for ordering using the relevant requisition form, which is called is INDEN, and requisition shall be submitted and supplied on the schedule basis. Next, the inventory shall be updated into the central inventory system as soon as possible upon the completion of receipts and also storage of items. So yeah, it shall be updated. And details such as quantity, batch number, expiry date, pricing, and name of manufacturer, supplier, and invoice number are all the other relevant things that has to be put, they have to be input correctly. And for upon completing the inventory updating, all relevant documents, for example invoice, purchase orders, as we know, the good receipt notes, GRNs, they have to be forwarded to the accounting department for the payment processing. And they have to update all the transactions of NGRNs into the computer system and also the bin card. Okay, and they have to post and certify all the GRNs, and they have to send all the invoice, GRN, and all the attached POs to the accounts department for payment. So that is all for the three things. And now I would like to explain what action that has to be taken in the store if they receive COVID-19 vaccines that are nearly expired. Okay, so for receipts of short item expiry, they shall observe the following. For example, all the items with an expiry date less than 1 year from dates of receipt, they shall be accompanied by a letter of undertaking from the supplier to facilitate upon a replacement upon the expiry. And they have to urgently required items with near expiry date, they have to be updated if the item ordered is to be administered or to be used immediately. Okay, so this is one of the warnings. Yeah, so I'll explain the storage separation of drug types and give two example of the drugs. So firstly, it will be general drugs as usual, like the normal drugs. They are to be arranged alphabetically in cabinet or as per use, and this type of drug which with short expiry stock are to be placed in front, while the long expiry ones are at the back. So for example, like antibiotics, antihypertensives, analgesics and stuff like that, right? So cold chains for hospital, they have to provide larger facilities, have one room with a negative temperature for frozen products within about -20 degrees Celsius, and another room but with a positive but cold temperature, which is up to 2 degrees Celsius up and until 8 degrees Celsius for product requiring refrigeration. Drugs like vaccine, sera, and hormones are the example of cold chain products. Next, it will be inflammable drugs. Inflammable items. Inflammable items shall be kept in stores seated at least 10 feet distance away from other adjacent buildings, and they have to be kept specifications with a wall inch of 14 thick brick, and a roof which is about 9 inches concrete thickness, and a door which is an iron is about 0.25 inches thickness. So for example, the items that would be inflammable would be ethanol, methanol, and acetone. So for the dangerous drugs or psychotropic substances, they have to be kept under lock and key in special room. Okay, they have the special room or special cabinet with an alarm system, and they should be separate and to be arranged especially for narcotics drugs like morphine, pethidine, and barbiturates. So briefly explain each procedure of distribution of drugs in hospital below, and define TTA. What is TTA? TTA is a type of prescription that consists of packs of medications which have enough statutory information, including on the packing, so that they fulfill the legal criteria for labeling medicines. They can be used to supply medicines to patients when there is, let's say, there's no pharmacy support, or given to patients out of hours to allow them to be discharged without waiting for the pharmacy to open. Right? So TTA does not is an easy way of distributing the medication to the patients, especially when there's no pharmacy support. So describe the procedure and details when screening the TTA prescription. As usual, they use the triangle check, which is to check the actual drugs against the drug label against the prescription. So prescription versus TTA and versus the label. And yeah, so they have to check the items prepared against the prescription, TTA, and issue prepared by column, or enter the identity code or ID on prescription tab for e-prescriptions. And they also have to do an issuance of drugs especially to outpatients. So for the continuation, they have to also verify against the original prescription or the e-prescription. So when they have to dispense the drugs, they have to use the 5 R's, right? For example, right patient, right medicine, right dose, right route, and right time. And they have to call the patient and verify the patient's particular by using 2 ways of identifying methods, such as patient name and also the birth date, which is the MRN. And they have to ask about the allergies or known adverse drug reactions. So what is pre-packing word supply? Pre-packing word supply is pre-packaging of products. They shall be carried out if only commercial products are not available in a ready-to-use pack for dispensing. And I'll describe about the pre-packing word supply. The pre-packing process shall be done by a trained personnel under the supervision of an assistant pharmacist or pharmacist, and only one batch of a particular drug shall be packed at one time and appropriately labeled. All worksheets for the pre-packing shall be produced, checked and verified, and signed by the supervising assistant pharmacist or the pharmacist. And lastly, the storage of the pre-packed medicine shall follow the storage condition as stated on the label by the product manufacturer. So that is all from me. Thank you.